Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriya Nashtiprahi Shubhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. Text number 14 onwards. So Gajendra, in this time of trouble, he remembered the prayers from his previous life when he was King Indradyumna. It's not mentioned here, but maybe some other Puran must have its life. What did he do to get that form? Like we read about King Bharat, how he took the
Seems Prabhuji got disconnected.
Yes, Prabhuji got disconnected.
Unable to hear you, Prabhuji.
Can you hear now?
Yes.
Okay.
Prabhuji,
I
now.
don't know. Something is happening today. Okay, let me read the translation again. My Lord, you are the observer of all the objectives of the senses. Without your mercy, there is no possibility of solving the problem of doubts. The material world is just like a shadow resembling you. Indeed, one accepts this material world as real because it gives a glimpse of your existence. To paraphrase this verse, the objectives of sensual activities are actually observed by you. Without your direction, the living entity cannot take even a step forward. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sanivishta. You are situated in everyone's heart, and only from you come remembrance and forgetfulness. Chayeva Yasya Bhavanani Vibharti Durga. The living entity, under the clutches of Maya, wants to enjoy this material world, but unless you give him directions and remind him, he cannot make progress in pursuing his shadowy objective in life. The conditioned soul wrongly progresses toward the wrong objective, life after life, and he is reminded of that objective by you. In one life, the conditioned soul desires to progress towards a certain objective, but after his body changes, he forgets everything. Nonetheless, my Lord, because he wanted to enjoy something of this world, you remind him of this in his next birth. Because everything, this knowledge, this smriti comes from him only. So next birth is for us. In fact, every night when we sleep, we forget who we are. In the morning when we get up, he is the one who reminds us who we are and what qualifications we have, what are we supposed to do in life. So same thing about next life. The body has changed. But who's going to remember what the soul wanted? What were his desires? What he wanted to achieve? So he reminds us. Because a conditioned soul wants to forget you. So if the conditioned soul wants to forget the Lord and thinks that he can enjoy separately from the Lord, who reminds him of that? Krishna does, or the Paramatma does. By your grace, you give him the opportunities, life after life, by which he can almost perpetually forget you. Therefore, you are eternally the director of the conditioned souls. It is because you are the original cause of everything that everything appears real. The ultimate reality is your Lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So ultimate reality is you. Original cause of everything is you. And because you're the supreme real, that's why everything appears real. And that's why even the Maya appears real. That is a beauty of Lord and his energies. The word Sarva Prataya Hetave is explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who says that a result gives one a glimpse of its cause. For example, since an earthen pot is a result of the actions of a potter, by seeing the earthen pot, one can guess at the existence of the potter. Similarly, this material world resembles the spiritual world, and any intelligent person can guess how it is acting. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Charachara. The activities of the material world suggest that behind them is a superintendence of the Lord. So by observing the material world, we can deduce it properly that there must be somebody, just like my car. It doesn't run on its own. I have to put in the petrol, I have to turn on the engine, and I have to drive it. Then it goes. So similarly, if the planets are moving or life is happening in the material world, if we plant a seed, the plant comes out. So somebody must be controlling it. It cannot just happen on its own. If the planets are moving in the same orbit, so somebody is driving them. Somebody is guiding. Just because we don't see that person doesn't mean it's not happening. Sometimes people remark that, oh, see, I drive my car, so I sit in the driver's seat, I have the steering wheel and I drive. So where is the steering wheel of the earth? Where is the driving seat of the earth? Well, it doesn't have to resemble like a car or an aeroplane. It might have a different driving mechanism. But then regardless, driver has to be there. I mean, this is common sense. Just because I don't see the driver doesn't mean driver is not there. Or I don't see all the nuts and bolts and the tires or whatever. So that means it's just flying on its own. No. Namo namaste akhila karanaya nishikaranaya adbhut karanaya sarvagamamnaya aharanavaya namo apavargaya parayanaya. My Lord, you're the cause of all causes, but you yourself have no cause. Therefore, you're the wonderful cause of everything. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the shelter of the Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras like the Pancharatras and Vedanta Sutra, which are your representations and who are the source of Parampara system. Because it is you who can give liberation. You're the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So wonderful prayers. Gajendra, as Gajendra, he knew all about the Lord, or lot about the Lord. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described herein as the wonderful cause. He is wonderful in the sense that although there may be unlimited emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he always remains complete. In our existence in the material world, if we have a bank balance of $1 million, as we withdraw money from the bank, the balance gradually diminishes until it becomes nil. However, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is so complete that although innumerable personalities of Godhead expand from him, he remains the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnadeva Avashishyate. Therefore, he is the wonderful cause. So wonderful in the sense, it's so difficult to understand him. Like Prabhupada explains, all the emanations, all the expansions come out of Krishna, and still he is the same. So spiritual world, Prabhupada says 1 minus 1 is equal to 1 and 1 plus 1 is equal to 1. Why? Because God is complete, always complete. Purnam, Purnasya Purnamadaya. He's always Purna. Mayavadis, they try to explain that, see this, they take a paper and just tear it up in small pieces, and then they just throw it up in the air. They say, see, the original paper is gone, and it's only pieces left. So when all the pieces come together, then the original paper will be formed. But this logic does not work with Krishna. They say that, see, all these souls, they came out of Krishna, or Krishna divided himself up in all these souls. So original God, they don't say Krishna, original Parabrahma is gone. So now we all are Parabrahma, but we have forgotten we are Parabrahma. And when we remember we are Parabrahma, we start connecting together, and then original Parabrahma is formed. But there's plenty of flaws in this logic. Krishna never said that in Bhagavad Gita. Brahma Samhita doesn't say that. Ishopanishad doesn't say that. So where are they getting this logic from? From their own mental speculation. Krishna is always Purna. When he says in Bhagavad Gita, the soul cannot be cut into pieces. Mame vansho jiv loke jiv bhuta sanatana. They're my ansha sanatan, eternally. Means no beginning, no end. And when the soul cannot be cut into pieces, how can Parabrahm be cut into pieces? So just because he says we are his ansha doesn't mean he loses his personality when we are formed. And jivas are sanatan. Means we'll always remain a jiva. Material or spiritual world, that's a different story, but we'll always remain a jiva. But he always is Purna, he's always complete. Even in this material world, we can understand that the sun has existed for millions of years, and has given off heat and light since its creation. Yet the sun still retains its power and never changes. What then is to be said of the supreme cause, Param Brahma, Krishna? Everything emanates from him perpetually, yet he maintains his original form. Krishna personally says in Bhagavad Gita, Matta Sarvam Pravartate, everything emanates from me. Everything emanates from Krishna eternally, yet he is the same Krishna and does not change. Therefore, he is a shelter of transcendentalists who are eager to get free from material bondage. Everyone must take shelter of Krishna. Therefore, it is advised, Akama Sarva Kamava Moksha Kamudarti. Whether one desires everything or nothing or desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. Param Brahma, the Supreme Lord, and Param Dhama, the Supreme Repose, is Krishna. Therefore, anyone who desires anything, whether he be a karmi, a jnani, or a yogi, should try to perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead very seriously, and all of his desires will be fulfilled. The Lord says, Ye thamam prapadyante tastatthaiva bhajamyaham. As a living entities surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Even the karmi who wants everything for his enjoyment can get it from Krishna. For Krishna, supplying what he wants is not at all difficult. Actually, however, one should only worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for the sake of getting liberation also. So this is what Gajendra is saying. Namo apavargaya parayanaya. Because it is you only who can give liberation. You only who can give everything material also. So one should just worship you. Vedasya sarver aham evedya. By studying the Vedic literature, one should understand Krishna, as confirmed here. He is the ocean and all Vedic knowledge flows toward him. Therefore, intelligent transcendentalists take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the ultimate goal. And that's why Gajendra, he also says, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. And he's also taking shelter of Krishna. Gunar anichanna chid ushma paya tatshobha vispurjit manasaya ashkarmya bhavena vivarjitagama swayam prakashaya namasparoni. My Lord, as a fire in Arani wood is covered, you and your unlimited knowledge are covered by the material modes of nature. Your mind, however, is not attentive to the activities of the modes of nature. Those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge are not subject to the regulative principles directed in Vedic literatures. Because such advanced souls are transcendental, you personally appear in the pure minds. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Tesham eva anukampartham aham tamaha. For a devotee who has taken the lotus feet of the Lord within his heart, the Lord gives spiritual enlightenment, known as a Jnana Deepa, by special mercy from within. This Jnana Deepa is compared to the fire hidden within Arani wood. To perform fire sacrifices, great sages previously did not ignite a fire directly. The fire would be invoked from Arani wood. So this Arani wood, of course, every wood has fire element in it, but within the Arani wood, it was very prominent and it would show up very fast. So in the previous ages, great sages would just chant some mantras and the fire would be produced in the Arani wood. And they would use that fire for the yajna. They didn't have lighters or matchboxes. But now we have forgotten all that technology and we just rely on different things. Similarly, all living entities are covered by the modes of material nature, and the fire of knowledge can be ignited only by the Supreme Personality of Godhead when one takes him within one's heart. Savai man Krishna Padaravindayo. If one takes seriously the lotus feet of Krishna, who is seated within one's heart, the Lord eradicates all ignorance. By the torch of knowledge, one immediately understands everything properly by the special mercy of the Supreme Lord and becomes self-realized. In other words, although a devotee may externally not be very well educated, because of his devotional service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives him enlightenment from within. If the Lord gives enlightenment from within, how can one be in ignorance? Therefore, the allegation of the Mayavadis that the devotional path is for unintelligent or uneducated is untrue. Because Krishna gives the knowledge, Krishna gives the enlightenment for the devotees. So just like Arani wood, the example is given, the fire element is there, it just comes out by chanting a few mantras. So similarly, the knowledge is there in every soul. So every soul is made up of Sat, Chit and Ananda, just like Krishna is made of Sat, Chit and Ananda. So Chit means the knowledge, it's there. It just has to come out. For a devotee, Krishna sitting within the heart as Paramatma, he removes the covering when he sees the devotees serving so nicely. So he removes the covering by which the original knowledge shines forth. So the devotional service or devotees, they are not unintelligent or uneducated, as Prabhupada says. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvera gunestatra samasate sudha. If one becomes an unalloyed devotee of the Supreme Lord, he automatically manifests all good qualities. Such a devotee is above the instructions of the Vedas. He is a Paramhansa. Even without going through the Vedic literature, a devotee becomes pure and enlightened by the mercy of the Lord. Therefore, my Lord, the devotee says, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Because this nature of a devotee, behavior of a devotee, that my Lord, I'm just surrendered unto you. I'm offering obeisances unto you. And you have all these qualities and you just do whatever you want to do with me. And Lord, he is known as Bhaktavatsal. He is known as Deenavatsal. Deen means one who has taken a very humble position in front of the Lord. He's not known as Jnani Vatsal or Yogi Vatsal or Karmi Vatsal. He doesn't love them. He only loves his devotees, especially his humble devotees. Madrik prapanna pashru pasha vimokshanaya muktaya bhuri karunaya namo alayaya swanshena sarva tanu bhrin manasi pratita pratyak drishye bhagavate brihate namaste. Since an animal such as me has surrendered unto you, who are supremely liberated, certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. By your partial feature as Paramatma, you are situated in the hearts of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge and you are unlimited. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The words Brihate Namaste have been explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. There are many tattvas such as Vishnu Tattva, Jiva Tattva, Shakti Tattva, but above everything is the Vishnu Tattva, which is all pervading. This all-pervading feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is explained in Bhagavad Gita, wherein the Lord says, Atheva bahunetena kim gyatena tava Arjuna. But what need is there, Arjun, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Thus, Krishna says that the entire material body is maintained by his partial representation as Paramatma. The Lord enters every universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, then expands himself as Kshirodaksha Vishnu to enter the hearts of all living entities and even enter the atoms. Every universe is full of atoms, and the Lord is not only within the universe, but also within the atoms. Thus, within every atom, the Supreme Lord exists in his Vishnu feature as Paramatma, but all the Vishnu Tattvas emanate from Krishna. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Adirhi Devanam. Krishna is the Adi or beginning of the Devas, or demigods of this material world, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Therefore, he is described here as Bhagavate Brihate. So he is the Supreme Lord. He is the possessor of unlimited opulence. Krishna is the origin of everyone, everything. Spiritual world, material world, everything comes from Krishna. And Gajendra is saying what? Since an animal such as me has surrendered unto you. He is comparing himself, or he is in the animal body. But Prabhupada says, in this material world, everyone is a pashu, an animal, because of the bodily conception of life. A human being who identifies the body made of three elements as a self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of his birth to be worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to bathe rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like a cow or an ass. Means that's an animal. So we all consider our body to be ourselves. We all consider byproducts of the body to be our kinsmen. Byproducts means children. And land of birth is worshipable, Bharat Mata Ki Jai or whatever, and who goes to place of pilgrimage simply to bathe. Worst, we go to Vrindavan to Banke Bihari to eat some nice tikki prasad over there, or to have lassi. So this is all animal propensities. Animalistic propensities. So we, as Prabhupada used to say, we are all dvipad pashu, two-legged animals. Because our only activities are eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. That's it. That's animal. Prabhupada says, practically everyone, therefore, is a pashu, an animal, and everyone is attacked by the crocodile of material existence. Not only the king of the elephants, but every one of us is being attacked by crocodile and is suffering the consequences. Only Krishna can deliver us from this material existence. Indeed, he is always trying to deliver us. He is within our hearts and is not at all inattentive. His only aim is to deliver us from material life. It is not that he becomes attentive to us only when we offer prayers to him. Even before we offer our prayers, he incessantly tries to deliver us. He is never lazy in regard to our deliverance. Therefore, this verse is Bhuri Karunaya Namo Alyaya. It's the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord that he always tries to bring us back to Godhead. God is liberated and he tries to make us liberated. Although he is constantly trying, we refuse to accept his instructions. Nonetheless, he has not become angry. Therefore, he is described here as Bhuri Karunaya, unlimitedly merciful in delivering us from this miserable material conditions of life and taking us back home, back to Godhead. So this is his love for all the souls, everybody. He is trying. Somebody can say he is omnipotent, and if he is trying, how come he is failing? Well, he doesn't want robots. He wants us to go back to him, have a desire, just have a desire, and he'll open up all the gates. We all have Krishna as Paramatma in our heart, but just like when today's Janmashtami, so Krishna, when he appeared, when he was born in that prison house of Kansa, and then he asked Vasudevji to take him to Gokul. So as soon as Vasudevji picked him up, all his shackles were removed, the gates opened up, all the security guards, they fell asleep. And in fact, before he left, Devaki fed him milk from her own breast. That he's just born and he's going all the way to Gokul, he'll be hungry. So the point is, as soon as, of course, Krishna is there, but as soon as we actively bring him in our heart or in our consciousness, then the shackles of Maya will be broken up. But we have to do our practice, our work, our devotion, service. And he is there. And he is there to attract us. He is there to liberate us. He is there to take us back home, back to Godhead. Or, well, he is the Godhead. He is here to take us back to the spiritual world. But we have to be ready. We are not ready. That's the problem. So all these sadhana, classes, service, everything is there to make us ready from within the heart, not just as a lip service, from the within the core of the heart. We desire, yes, Krishna, now I want to go back. So Janmashtami Day, this should be our meditation, and we enjoy the festival of Janmashtami. If you're going to the temple, if you're not going to the temple, whatever, at least we can chant more, that's all. And try to please Krishna. Okay, so we'll stop here and see anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful Janmashtami. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.